Well, all right. I guess it's time for episode 5 of The Ramble. And you may be wondering why I changed the theme song. Well, the last guest, he roasted my theme song, so I'm trying something a little new, something more modern. I don't know, a little more chill, something modeled after what the kids are playing right now at KXLU in Loyola Marymount University. It's a nice little college in West LA, and everyone's really monotone. So I'm gonna try this out for a little bit. Get the groove going. Yeah, I like it. I could feel this energy. Okay, wonderful. And I got a really special guest today. Her name is Dinah Leffert. Dinah, right? It's not Dina, right? It's Dinah.
You nailed it. It's Dinah.
Okay, good. Okay, I was really hoping it was Dinah. Not that I hate Dina or something, or I knew somebody named Dina or whatever like that. I just prefer Dinah. It's nice.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not, and it reminds me of that chicken joint.
Yes.
On Sepulveda. I've never eaten there, but I've driven by it a million times.
Don't do it. The one to go to is the original in Burbank.
Oh.
The Dinah's Chicken in Burbank I can't believe it's not more famous.
Oh, I see.
It's so good. I tried the one on Sepulveda, and then I never wanted to try it again because I thought it was a really bad misuse of my name.
Ooh.
Because the chicken was just really bland, and it was painful. So I didn't try it again until last year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Dinah's Chicken plug right there. We should get some free chicken.
Yeah, a little fried chicken for the show.
I like your intro music. It sounds like a little bit hipper than the acupuncture music that they were playing for me.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know, I think it was 6 months ago. I want to say, I don't know, but whatever the second spike was, and everything was like really scary, and there was always every radio station you turn to was like, and the cases are up to this, the ICUs and the blah, blah, blah. I finally changed the station, and it was the KXLU. It's the college radio station, and it was like the party never stopped. It was just like nonstop ass pounding bass and shit. And I'm like, wow, these guys are just going off right now. And I was like, there's got to be a commercial, a break or something. There was nothing. It was just nonstop for my whole freaking drive. And I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. And then finally, somebody comes on, probably 25 minutes later, and it's like this kid, 20-year-old kid, the DJ student there, and
of course,
super monotone. I couldn't figure out, is the person trying to act super cool, above it all, or is it like they're still, they're 20, 21, they're still kind of hatching out of their shell personality wise. I was just trying to figure out what was it? But it was just dude, a fucking bomb can go off, like a nuclear bomb, and it's come to my attention that a bomb has gone off. So I have 8 consecutive tracks of ass pounding bass for you bitches. You know what I mean?
Yep. There's no commercials when you're on MDMA or whatever. It's ecstasy if you're from the 90s.
Yeah, speaking of 90s, my last podcast, I had Skylar Stone, who was a Gen Xer. Are you in the Gen X category?
I'm a proud Gen Xer, and I say proud because we're a cool bunch. We really are. And we had the 90s. I personally helped hip hop. I have a personal contribution to hip hop.
Wow.
And that's because I went to high school and became friends with Tupac Shakur.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, he transferred to Tamalpais High School in Mill Valley in October of '89 when I was there at the same time. He's a couple years older, and I was more his sister's age. And I had a boyfriend at the time. So Tupac was always platonic, and he was always a friend. And he was like, Dinah, why won't no girls go out with me? And I was like, Tupac, you got to change your clothes. You have to change your clothes.
What was he dressing like?
I have a picture. I actually talked to a hip hop historian, and he found a picture of me, kind of close to Tupac, where I'm not facing him, but you can kind of see my profile and you can see what he's wearing. But before he found that, I described it accurately, which was he had a pair of jeans and he had a jean jacket, and we knew it was the same pair of jeans and jean jacket because he had graffitied all over it.
Double denim.
The double denim. And so, and he had like a high top fade. One side was bleached out. You know, it was, and maybe like some of those Timberland boots. And it was just real basic. And everyone knew like he was really talented. I mean, he took our school by storm, not just with his raps. After poetry, he would have a new rap. And then people would run and be like, Tupac's about to rap on the front lawn, and people would come running. But then he was in drama and he did The Bore by Chekhov, I believe, is the Bore. And it was like, he can act too. Like he could spit rhymes and Shakespeare.
No shit. Was he in any movies? I can't remember.
Yes, he was in a bunch of movies. Like the last contact I had with him was just before he did Juice, and I did go try to find him in Oakland because I was staying there with a friend of mine after we graduated, and every time there was like, oh, there's a Tupac sighting, we should go find him. But he came back when I was in Marin City with some friends, and he came rolling up in his town car, and we smoked blunts with him. I mean, I've smoked countless blunts with him.
That is so cool. Wow.
But, you know, we never thought he was going to get that famous. But I mean, I was one of the people contacted when his first 2 CDs dropped. And I remember running all the way to the wharf, Fisherman's Wharf, to the Tower Records that was there. And I was like, I found it and I was just like, oh my God, he did it. He did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots to that story. But because I helped him change his clothes, he got also with my best friend Kasima Nez, who was his girlfriend. She was the Jada Pinkett of the West Coast. She was this beautiful mixed girl that was really like, for him, that was the prettiest girl in the school. And because 2 things happened. The drama department, I had told them that he's dropping out of the next play, which was Antigone, because he went to go get a job so he could earn money to buy clothes so that he could get a girlfriend. And so the drama department got like not pissed at me, but they were like, you need to be the one to go talk him back into being in this play.
Oh. And
I was the person who had talked him out of being in the play. And so I had this impossible mission, and then it didn't work out for drama department, but it worked out for him because he ended up taking her to junior prom, and she's shown me at our high school reunion a stack of about 20 letters from Tupac Shakur.
Wow, that is amazing.
So yeah, it's wild, but that's what I'm saying, like kind of like jokingly, that I contributed to hip hop because I helped Tupac get a girl and change his clothes.
Yeah, I enjoyed the 90s. I mean, I loved growing up, 80s, 90s, whatnot. But gang banging was a huge thing back then. I remember almost getting shot by some freak that hopped out of a car, flashed his gun, and we're like sitting there going like, holy fuck. We're like 13 years old or whatever. And we're just like, this is it. Uh-oh. I can't believe it. This is actually it. We're like looking for like outlets. Like, do we dive underneath this car or something? But he was just like, where's you from, fool? And like, we're like, fucking here. I don't know. Like we didn't know what to say. And he just hopped back in the car. But that was like pretty fucking insane.
Let's call it a 90s near-death experience.
Yeah, a 90s near-death experience. There were gangs.
But he let you know you were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I would think growing up now would be better than the 90s, because the 90s were pretty rough. I don't know, like you have homelessness now. That's a big deal. But it was like, back then it was like you turn a corner and you could fucking die. I mean, that was that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, there's change. And this is number 5 podcast, right?
Yes.
And numerology 5 is change. I was like, perfect. That's me. I'm like in full change. Like, unless if you're not resisting change, you're always, you can just keep going with the flow. But change, like if you try to change something, it becomes the next problem. So we have fixed certain things, but they became a bigger problem. And so there's some things where we're safer, and there's some things where it's like, because of the internet, it used to be, I didn't know all of these things that were happening that were so horrendous in the world. Like that, it was God's mercy that you didn't have any clue how horrendously evil human beings could be. But now we have the internet. We know everything. Pedophilia and all that shit didn't just start now.
Right.
But it gave access to people to do a lot of nefarious things that they wouldn't have access to before. But also at the same time, you have task force that can use the internet to catch them. So it's like, in a way, it became a bigger problem, but a bigger way to, a bigger solution. So I'm just like using that as an example. But to me, it's not a safer world at all, because people are less, I'm not like religious, but in a way I am, because like those core beliefs and values, and believe me, like I've spent years with like being agnostic or atheist, or like I've come to this conclusion that it's, even if God isn't real, it's the people that actually do believe have a better character. They have light in their eyes. They have boundaries. They have, like they have demystified how life works. Like, hey, if you do this and you're out of your integrity, and they might call it sin, or you might not be into that. So other people in other seminars might call that you're out of integrity, or another religion calls it ethics, but it's all the same. It's all the same thing. It's, we're living in a world now where a lot of those ethics are thrown out. It's become this like amoral society. And that's not good. That's not good. Because even though Anne Frank, the message of her book was that people are really good at heart, that's a child's innocent perspective. When in reality, doctors of veterans are saying like it's PTSD is much worsened by the naivete of the soldier, like watching all these propaganda films and thinking that they're going to be a big hero, and then they're actually like killing civilians and seeing all these horrendous things that they're not prepared to come back into civilized, be a citizen. And so what I got from that was like, okay, they're saying that naivete makes PTSD worse. So it's better to know the truth about people. So what I'm saying is it's important for people to know that people are actually not good at heart. You might be, but in general, it's not also good to think everyone's out to get you either, but it's a fine balance of not just, I've been a naive person my whole life. So to me, this is groundbreaking. Like, I really was a people are good at heart person, right. But I think it's way better to know that evil lurks. There is such a thing. And if you don't believe in God, that's fine. But people do believe in Satan. So right. You need to choose at some point.
The satanic church or whatever is more like a joke. They kind of use it to troll.
I don't even necessarily mean them. Like,
right.
They might even be better people than I.
Yeah, but like actual, like the Richard Ramirez of the world, like those motherfuckers that are actually like scrawling fucking in blood. And that's a little different. The people of the satanic church, those guys are just, they're just trolls, and they're just trolling the religious people. But the interesting thing about now and religion, I'm not a religious person either, even though I was baptized Catholic in Argentina, and I like, certain aspects of it, but like the whole thing, I always kind of rejected. And of course, obviously the bullshit that happened with the pedophilia and all that stuff, that is absolutely fucking atrocious.
Of course, but it's not the entirety of the religion. I'm Jewish, but I was sent to a Catholic school because I was growing up in New Mexico originally, like that's where I was born. And you had to go to a private school because the public schools I was getting chased and beat up by cholos with nunchucks. Like, it's Albuquerque,
Oh shit, that's a fucking Wild West over there, huh?
Oh yeah, it's especially back then. Like, it was the Wild Wild West. So I had a Catholic education. I also was traumatized there. They told me I was damned for hell. My parents didn't love me because I wasn't baptized. But I also was told not to tell anybody at that school that I was Jewish. So it was warped. I had a warped thinking of like myself. And wow. So, but now my fiance is also a comedian. He's Native American and he's Christian. So he's really helped me because, for one thing, he's Christian, not like his family, like they're Lakota, and they've been Christian since before America was America, because they used to trade fur with the French. So they were already like, he's a direct descendant of Sitting Bull's right-hand lieutenant, Chief Gall. And if you see Chief Gall, he's in his like traditional tribal wear, but he's also wearing a cross.
Oh, wow.
And stuff. So anyways, I'm rambling. Maybe I had too much coffee. Hi.
That's a good ramble right there. I just wanted to pivot back a little bit about spirituality thing that we were talking about and how it relates to our current period right now in 2021. Yeah, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of forgiveness and redemption going on, which is something that is kind of preached in religion. It's one of those things where like you make a mistake, pay the price, but you're not like gone for, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's something that's like you're forgiven, but like that's not something that's vibing nowadays, where it's like, like there's the angry mobs on Twitter.
Are you saying like cancel culture needs Jesus?
They could use a little Jesus. Yeah, I
think so too. I mean, I'm telling you, like at this point, I'm convinced that our Jewish Messiah already came. In Hebrew, it's Yeshua, and it's in our own old Jewish, like it's Isaiah 53. It describes perfectly, like it could be no other person. So any Jewish person that's listening to us probably wants to like punch me through the airwaves, but it's there's also a renaissance happening in Israel, and you can go on to One for Israel and watch all these videos. And it's just like Jewish people basically coming to like having either had a supernatural experience or having never been offered to read any of these things. And so there's a renaissance happening in Israel and on the reservation and wherever else, because the teaching of Christ is so, it transcends all this time. And the basic message is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And everyone needs it. Like if you don't have the ability to forgive, that is top tier mental illness.
Right.
Like my sister, I'm not naming any names because I have more than one, but she won't forgive my mom. And so I basically said to her, you won't forgive her for something she did in the 1980s. Do you understand that right there is mental illness?
Yeah, it's tough.
If you can't forgive somebody who gave you life and for something she did, she's not even that person anymore.
Sure. Right. People change. I'm not the same person I was when I was 18. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't the same person when I was in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like,
come on. It's just like, you got to look at all the circumstance. I'm a bigger picture person. It's like, what was happening?
Yeah.
Everybody was getting divorced. It's like,
Yeah. The context.
Context. Yeah.
So I definitely want to, you touched on the Native American thing here. And I wanted to go back to it because I thought it was really interesting that your fiance is Native American and you went to protest the Dakota Access Pipeline, right? The construction?
Yes. And I went to protest and I became a water protector. So they don't even call themselves protesters. So it was not just one time. We went from August, September, October, and then came back in December. And wow. I mean, I could take you through the whole thing, but it went from just camp where it's mostly Native and indigenous people are coming from around the world and allies of different races, but cut to December. So fiance is JR Redwater and he's a veteran. Uh-huh. And so when in August, he said, I really want to have veterans come here. We need veterans here. That's who's going to help us, because these corrupt cops, and not just the police from Morton County, but the paid, what are they called? Missionaries?
Mercenary?
Like these guys are of no branch of any of just like what happened in Portland. All of a sudden, it was like Trump was sending out goons, like
non-uniformed people.
So the first time that happened, that's why I say that this revolution that happened started at Standing Rock. That is totally unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And, it breaks treaties. It breaks all kinds of things like that are happening there. So, there's so many highlights of that happened there that were incredible and totally changed my life. And so JR and I we weren't even a couple before.
But is that where you met him at the?
No. He's a comedian. So we met in, at the Flappers Comedy Club where we were both on the same show. And because I'm from New Mexico, I had this joke about like my first love was a Native American Indian boy used to come to I grew up on the periphery of a Navajo reservation. And so this boy used to come to the fence and like we were in love. And like one day he brought me a ring that had been in his family for 8 generations. It was a Zuni ring. And then he gave it to me. And then like 2 days later, him and his mom came and knocked on our door and asked for it back. There should be a name for that. Okay. So that's where he first saw me. And so it's like, he's like, let me talk to you about that joke. Like just kind of needling me, you know? And so, but he loved it. He wasn't mad at me at all. Like, in fact, I've told that joke in front of 100% Native audience.
Okay, cool.
And so it's not, you know, like there's definitely times where if it's just one Native person and then it's like all white people in an audience, it's probably going to be upsetting. Yeah. And I might not even tell that joke anymore. It's like cancel culture. Like people are going to find a reason for, you know, it's just not appropriate anymore, but whatever. So that's the joke that actually brought us together. Uh-huh. And just because JR was the only other person that I knew that was reposting my stuff about Standing Rock and I was reposting his, and he's from there. He's 100% Lakota Sioux. He was born at Standing Rock. Like those,
it's like his land. Yeah.
It's his land. It's like his cousins who were getting shot up. And so he, in his culture, comedians are, they're revered, you know, it's not just like, hey, you know, they're hayokas and it's kind of like a medicine man, but like in a comedic way, you know, it's like hayokas, like laughter is really the best medicine. It's just like in their language. And so we would go from camp to camp, different tribes. I mean, there's 546 federally recognized tribes in America. Uh-huh. And most of those tribes showed up. So we were going from camp to camp and man, we were just making friends with people because and learning about their tribe.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was making them laugh, you know, and it was just like this proper education. So like there was one camp that we went to and I grabbed a bottle of water because I was thirsty. And then I sat down and this lady came up to me and she goes, in our tribe, the man gets like, if you wouldn't just grab the water for yourself, like you'd first give one to your man. So go give one to your man. And I was like, okay. So I went and gave it to him. And then I got mine and I was like, okay, schooled. And so when we left, I told him what she said. And he goes, well, don't worry, honey. In my tribe, the women come first. We serve the women first. And I was like, aw.
So I'm in a group text with a bunch of guys. We're sports fanatics, and it's like a safe space for us to like vent about how bad our teams are doing and all this stuff. And it was interesting. Somebody shared a article about how the Cleveland Indians were changing their name. They were no longer going to be known as the Cleveland Indians. And I remember a lot of guys were voicing their displeasure with it. And I was actually for it. I was not poking fun of this thing. I thought, you know what? It's time, because this word Indian was basically a slur from when the English came over and they're like, they're dark like the Indian people from India. You know, it was completely demeaning. It's fucking confusing as well. Not to mention, like, they're not from India. They're fucking from, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, I was like, good riddance. You know, it's time to get rid of that goddamn word. I don't know. Like,
not only that, not even just saying Indian, because actually JR refers to himself as Indian, but it's kind of like that's for him to call himself that, but nobody else. But also it's if you look at the the mascot of the Cleveland Indians, and you see that it's how that mascot looks.
Oh, the smiling with the big teeth and the big nose. And
that's like if they were called the Hebrews or the Jews, and you just had like a Jew with a big nose, like you wouldn't allow it.
Right.
No, or it's like I'm just trying to come up with other types of things where people could get it. There's even cartoons where like the how the natives looks, how those natives look, but they're like blown out into a caricature.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, oh, give me a break, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? There were 11 like 12-year-olds that committed suicide on the reservation the year before the pipeline started, like not before, but like that year, unrelated to the pipeline.
Yeah.
They all killed them. And so the suicide rate is really high. And so there's been studies. And so mascots, and like when you limit how you're seen as a particular ethnicity, it does a lot of damage to your self-esteem.
Right.
So it might not be a big deal to anybody else. Oh, give it it's from a long time ago. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a real child that's not even necessarily, there's a lot of Native Americans that you don't even realize because they don't live on the reservation. They live off res. The people that are still on the reservation are people that are there helping and people that are there dying.
Oh,
in poverty, in real, like, look at what just happened with COVID with the Dinah, the Navajo, in how bad they were. And also the Sioux, like, I mean, when we were just there helping his mom, she had COVID. It was like every day he was losing a cousin.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, every day we're getting calls. Somebody else died.
Yeah.
It must have been 10 cousins just in that one visit to see his mom at the hospital.
Wow.
She had just recovered from COVID and we had to get her into a recovery house. So she didn't have to go back to like a situation where she'd get sick again.
Sure.
And so, but if you look at the Navajo reservation, they don't have any running water.
Oh my goodness.
Like we're in America.
Yeah.
And there are thousands of people living on the reservations that don't have running water.
Yeah.
So when I hear other people talking about their oppression and all this shit, it's like, yo, you might not have white privilege, but you have American privilege. Have you visited a reservation lately?
Right. Unbelievable. So how does JR feel about, I don't know if there's a book that came out, I guess, last year, I want to say. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this book. Joe Rogan was talking about it on his podcast. It was Empire of the Summer Moon. And it was all about the Comanche. I listened to it, man. It was fucking gnarly. I mean, holy shit, that was gnarly. Because it's like
about the Comanche tribes and like the how like they were warriors and or what about them? Just like that, the ruthless warriors that they were.
Yeah. That was.
Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to say is that, yes, there's a pride in Native American culture about being warriors, but there's also a stereotype about them being warriors when in reality, if you look at the Sioux, they're a family-oriented culture.
Yeah, the whole book goes on, or audio book, because I was driving back from Tahoe, but like it highlights like all the different tribes, mostly in the Texas region, and it went off on the Comanche, and it was a hard listen. It was like scalping, rape, murder, like a lot of horse theft, and then this, and then it was like non-stop.
Oh,
like,
yeah. But also, I don't know if there's a part in that book where they actually told the truth about this, but natives did not invent scalping. That did not come from natives. They got it from the like Indian removal. Like they basically the Indian Removal Act, or before then even. But especially then, I'm pretty sure it was Andrew Jackson who said it's $5 a head. So you don't want to bring back a whole head for the $5 of an Indian. You scalp it so that you can prove that you killed it, but you didn't have to bring the whole body or the whole head. So once natives knew that that was what was being done to their people, they started doing it back. But
doing it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a hard listen. It was like, man, the white people fucked over the Native Americans. Except the Comanche. Those fuckers, fuck them.
Well, that is actually like kind of a linchpin, because if they weren't like that, there were other tribes that were friendly to the white man.
Sure.
Air quotes, who were like, yeah, these guys are a problem for us too. We'll help you.
Yeah.
And so it's just like anything, like even Jewish people in the Holocaust, there were fucking Jewish people who were helping Nazis kill more Jews.
Right. Yeah. And then in France and Germany. Yeah. So I want to talk to you also about, you were a Bernie bro like me.
Yeah.
And you turned to a Biden backer, which, I applauded when I saw the news. And
well, hold on.
I wanted to ask you. Well, it's better than what we had there before. Before was pretty tragic. But I want to hear your opinion, and I want to hear your grades on how the current administration, current government is doing.
What's the grade?
Yeah.
Well, let me just start by saying I don't 100%, and I never did really back Biden. It was more like, once I felt backed into a corner, like, okay, I'm going to vote for the greater good. And, but I also, this is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to be 100% authentic with you.
Okay.
For the first time in my voting history, did not vote.
Oh.
I voted in the primary for Bernie.
Oh, good.
And then once he was out of the race, in California, I'm not in a swing state.
Sure.
And I saw that, from my perspective, I saw that the coup that happened actually already happened against Bernie. And I saw how the establishment worked. And I actually didn't feel like anybody needed my vote. And I'd been in a bit of a car accident, which is why I'd been taking acupuncture earlier. And
right, yeah.
And I couldn't drag myself to vote for Biden. I couldn't even drag myself to do it.
Okay.
But I think I posted some things in support of Kamala, because even though she's not perfect, it is groundbreaking.
Sure.
Especially as a woman of color. And I did vote for her before when she became a senator in California. And so I was like, I support that, but it's also identity politics. And I also was like, I don't vote with my vagina. So I also just didn't vote. I promise you, I voted for Bernie, and then I couldn't vote for Biden. I couldn't vote for Trump. I never would vote for Trump.
Sure.
But I think because my perspective is wild. Like, I grew up very staunch liberal, but the staunch liberal that my grandmother was is not the same liberal that's today. Like, I don't like these liberals.
Okay.
I don't think they get it. I think it's not the same party. And so I found my home as a progressive. And if you look, where's Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah.
Look at Bernie. He's still going strong. Like, to me, he is the shadow president.
Yeah. Well, Elizabeth is still. I follow her on social media. She's still fighting. I mean, they're fighting for the cancellation of student loans, which was floated by Biden as something he would do. Still hasn't. And they're lobbying for 50,000. He's saying maybe 10. I don't know. So me personally, I'd give him a B minus. I can't give him an A because of that. I think that
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give him a D minus because I can't give him an F.
Right.
But dropping bombs on Syria when you're 30 days into your presidency before you've sent out checks. I still don't have my check.
Oh no, I got mine. Mine would be lower if I didn't get my stimmy. My gosh.
Yeah, no stimmy.
Yeah.
And you're already dropping bombs. When I said, you guys, as much as you think that Trump was going to start World War III, he didn't.
Yeah. Right. He just killed that Iranian commander or something. And luckily it didn't escalate from there. But yeah.
But okay. So I can't pretend to say like I know exactly what is going on or why Biden needed to do that, but he needed to get congressional approval and he didn't.
Right.
And so therefore, he's dead to me. I mean, not he's dead to me. He's exactly who I thought he was. He's exactly why I was trying to warn people. But you know what I kind of see is that the Democratic Party is a team. Like Biden can't do any of this on his own. Like
sure.
everyone. I've never seen such a team in my life. Like they're a team. Even Bernie sucked it up and was like, for the greater good, which is also why I still fucking love this guy. You know, like he will suck it up to be a team player and he's doing a lot of good. So yeah, is the party doing better with him as a progressive and all these progressives that have been getting, voted into office and especially like Deb Haaland, who's the first Native American woman she's the interior of the blah, blah, blah. That's going to help. Mm-hmm. That's going to help a lot. Like,
oh yeah, I saw that. Right. Yeah.
That's going to help a lot. So to me, that's another thing like feminism, like there never needs to be feminism like in Native culture. Like they don't live like how it is for white people. Like it's not, or for like just like regular Americans. Like they've always had equality in their tribes.
Right. Oh,
you know, like we're more likely to have the first Native American woman president first than a Native American man as president. Like the women are leaders. You know who's on the front line at Standing Rock? All women.
Awesome.
They're the ones who led the charge. That's all great. Women.
So D- from you, B- for me. I got the stimmy. So yeah, you're right. Like if I didn't get that, I'd probably be a lot more upset. I am pretty happy that I got it. I bought a dog. I pick him up in April. And so he's the people's dog. He's taxpayer funded. So
the people's dog.
The people's dog. I don't know what his name's going to be. Maybe I'll name him Bernie. I don't know.
Oh, Bernie, the dog. That's a good name.
I don't know. We'll see. But, so there's another one, that came up recently. It's the news that Gavin Newsom is being recalled. Gavin recall. So obviously this is something that
I'm for Gavin recall. Gavin Adderall spewing nonstop without a pause, talking like a robot. Needs to be recalled. Okay, because first of all, we have 40,000 homeless people in Los Angeles, and they have made 8 tiny homes. 40,000 homeless people, 8 tiny homes.
There is more. The problem is okay, so Garcetti, which I don't like or whatever. We did pass a sales tax I think 2 years ago, and they did build some stuff. They should be building more, but there is some red tape that needs to be resolved. I don't have the exact details in front of me. I wish I was armed with this information.
It's a real estate in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing to come down on their price for all real estate here. Like we have a big problem because other states are sending their homeless people here. Yeah. Other states literally buy them a bus ticket. Yeah. And they send them here. So we have 40,000 people that are not just from California. And I wish more people knew that, which is why I'm saying it, because they're not all from here. They're coming here.
Oh no, they're from like Ohio. They're from all kinds of, yeah, I totally agree with you. And, I'm gonna give him a pass on this. I'm not gonna vote for him on the recall, even though homelessness is out of control, and I don't agree with him with all of his shutdowns.
You like him, don't you?
I do like Gavin, but I don't agree with everything he's done. I thought that there were ways that you could mitigate it. There was ways that you can reduce crowds and things like that in certain times in this. And I understand like when there was huge spikes and you were into the whatever color coded thing they were doing, that those were times to shut things down. But overall, I mean, I say this kind of selfishly because I'm a Chargers fan. I'm a football fan. I love to go to places like Disneyland and obviously comedy shows and fucking music venues and things like that. So I'm a little biased in that regard, but you know, it's still not enough. Even the French Laundry incident where he goes and eats inside of a restaurant or whatever, it's still not enough to push me to vote for the recall. But the homelessness thing, it's really interesting because even before all this like coronavirus shit happened, 2019, I had a cousin. Well, I'm sorry, not a cousin. My cousin's kid. What is that? Second cousin? A second cousin, right?
Actually, I just heard that you call them your nephews, even though they're your cousin. That it's proper to call your cousin's kids your niece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my niece. Yeah, all right. There it is. So my niece came from Argentina, and she came with her boyfriend, and they did like a little tour. So they did like New York, and they did I want to say San Francisco, I think, and then they came down here to LA. Uh-huh. And so I was tasked to kind of like show them around, and you know, they went to like places that I didn't really want to go. Like they wanted to walk around Hollywood and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I'll drop you off, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys can go do that. Just give me a call, pick you up, no problem. Or if you want to grab an Uber or whatever, you know, like things like real touristy things like that. But on one of the nights, I said, you know, downtown LA is really kind of like revitalized itself, you know.
Pre-pandemic, it was awesome. I was living down there.
Pre-pandemic.
And I had to move out because it was turned into a zombie apocalypse.
Yes. This is exactly what I recommend. I said, listen, come with me. I'll take you out. We're going to hit a bunch of great bars, rooftop bars, whatever. I'm going to show you a bunch of places. And one of the places I took him to was called Clifton. And it's this like Clifton's cafeteria. Are you familiar? Mm-hmm. Where it's like,
I have heard of it.
Yeah. It's like quiche, it's all redone. It was kind of like, almost like, I don't know, like a Disneyland or something. It was very quiche, and there was all these like animatronics and shit inside of it. And like, basically each level has a bar with a different theme.
Oh yeah. I heard of that place. I really wanted to go there.
Yeah.
Like I had been, you know, recommended that because I was living downtown, but I didn't get the chance. But yeah, hopefully when it's all like, well, I guess it is kind of reopening.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth to go and experience all the levels. So they enjoyed it, got some nice drinks. When we walked out, though, there was a homeless guy, an African-American guy, and he was probably, I don't know, I want to say 50 something. Somewhere around there, and like, you know, the guy's like half naked. His half of his hair is like gone on his head. Looks like he just jumped out of a car fire. You know what I'm saying? Like he's probably 40, but he lives such a hard street life. Yeah. You know, he looks 53. Yeah, and he's like mumbling shit, and he's like staring at us and mumbling shit, and my niece just stops, and she's like, "Whoa!" And he's completely filthy, and we're like, "Holy fuck!" My niece is like freaking out. She's like, "What's going on? What's wrong with this man?" Aww. And I'm like, in Los Angeles, we have a problem with homeless people for whatever reason, you know, end up on the streets, and they end up sleeping on the streets. And they were like, wow, that's crazy. How the fuck does that happen? Because she explained to me that in Argentina, as fucked up as it is, it's socialism, right? And I'm like, right. And I'm like, what? And so she's like, yeah, we don't have any fucking homeless people. They're like, there's not a single person living on the street. Everyone has a house. Yeah, I mean, there's poor people. If you study something, you know, like, or whatever, you don't go to school or whatever, you just like, you know, sell like some rotisserie chicken on the side of the thing. You're probably not going to make as much money as a dude who has a doctor's degree or something. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone's happy. Everyone's, you know, just drinking, doesn't matter. Like they have a place to fucking live. They probably have a fucking car.
That's it. That's the exact thing. Like where everybody thinks that socialism is so bad and it's going to lead to what happened in Venezuela and Russians that I know who are like, no, you don't understand how bad it could be. They think it's already happening. Like it's just this corruptness. And I'm like, it's not social. The socialism, the people, if you talk to some people, not everybody, but the people who are from Venezuela are like, you know what? Socialism was the best part of our country. That wasn't the problem. The problem was corruption
and the dictatorship.
If you have a system like that and it's being abused, of course the people are going to suffer and it's not going to work. But if you live in a country where you can vote on where your taxes go. And that's all Bernie was saying. You already have to pay taxes, but you have no vote. We go to wars you don't vote for. We do all kinds of things with your money that our government does all kinds of things with your money that you didn't sign on for.
Yeah.
So how about a system in which you could go, as a group, we don't want to spend money on this. It's a consensus. Okay, we're going to stop putting money into that. What would be a better use of our funds?
Yeah.
We're actually in society paying more for your Walmart workers because you're not paying them a living wage, and our tax dollars go to pay for their food stamps and other government subsidies that
workers, right? We're paying for their work. Yeah, that's right. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. The Echo Park issue, I don't know if it was really recent. I don't know if you were able to familiar with this news.
Yes.
So
clean up the park.
Right.
Clean it up.
Yeah. So a bunch of homeless people, for those that don't know, so Echo Park was a nice park. Then it became kind of like gang infested. And then, gentrification came, and then they decided to clean it up, and it became like this like Instagram, destination. And people are like taking pictures of themselves on these fucking flotation.
The swans, right? Some swans and shit. And then all of a sudden, like, hundreds of homeless people just pour in there, and, nobody's Instagramming anymore. So, like the city decided to crack down, Garcetti and all these people. They're like, okay, fine. We're going to offer these people, a place to live. We're going to house you. Okay. But there are some rules to the housing. There's probably like some sort of curfew or drug thing or something. 8 o'clock. Yeah. The curfew's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. And so a lot of these people declined housing, free fucking publicly funded housing, and decided to stay. And so, everyone came in, and then there was protesters by these fucking idiots. I don't know who these people were, but they were protesting the removal of this stuff. They were offered fucking housing. It's like, dude, give me a fucking break.
I'm a protester. I went all the way to South Dakota to do it. Okay. I'm going to protest what I think is worth protesting. Like, if you're offering people a place to stay, you've completely taken over this, the only park in that area for kids to go play. And it's become completely 100% maximum occupancy. Then the city has to do something. So the residents the people want to say, oh, the city's not doing anything. Then they try to do something, and it's, let's protest the city. No, people, you need to stop your professional protesting. And
professional protester. Yeah, I know.
They don't even know what they're doing. They have nothing better to do. Like, get off unemployment and get a job, because the world has opened up. There's better things to protest.
Yeah.
The city is trying to help those people get a legit place to live. And you know what? I can understand that you don't want a curfew, but you put yourself in this position. Is in some way, form, or another, you're in this position.
Right. It wasn't 100%, society did this to me.
I'm not saying it's your fault, but I believe in personal responsibility.
Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely to some degree. I mean, maybe not 100%. Some things are out of your control. I understand that, but like, there's definitely personal responsibility here. And that was something that just completely pissed me off when I saw that people were just refusing to leave. And they're like, no, we're just going to live out here. It's like,
listen,
no.
we're gonna have something worse than COVID unless drastic measures are taken. I mean, there's a ex-police officer who dedicates, he's I forget his name right now. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, sir, but he's a hero. He has been helping the homeless for years and years and years since his retirement, and even before his retirement. But he got a flesh-eating disease, and he lost his leg helping the homeless, and he's still helping the homeless.
That's awesome. Oh, it was, goddamn, what was that? He got, not dengue fever. It was like, goddamn. And now it slipped my mind, but yeah, he stepped on something. And
like, basically our COVID vaccines are not going to help whatever we get from this out of control problem. I mean, I moved out of downtown for it. I came back to Hollywood, and it was just as bad on Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, just until about 2 weeks ago, there was a huge construction underneath where, like, this, on La Brea, where the ladies are with the hold up the stars.
Sure.
And then right there, I mean, and I'm not just like criticizing them. During the pandemic, I was bringing them food. I'm like, I have a heart and I care about the homeless a lot. But the city has to do something. It's like, you can't just make this uninhabitable for all the residents who live here. I mean, I was woken up every day by screaming madman, homeless guy that's like lives in that encampment right there.
Yeah, no, so, I voted for, I think it was Prop HHH. I don't know what it was, but it's that sales tax hike. I was like, dude, let's do it. Now's the time. And that was like a couple years ago when it was half the population of what it is today. But I wanted to talk to you also about, because I have in another group text some funny creative people, and we were trying to figure out like why, mask wearing was like, people in LA kind of seem to abide by the rules and wear their masks. Where in other people, it's like a giant thing, and people are like, well, I'm not gonna wear a goddamn mask. And, it's like, and the theories, we were all writing all these like theories of like why. Some of them were like, well, it's because we're all a bunch of communists. We do what, Gavin Newsom wants us to do or whatever. But I thought the funniest one that came out of it was that there's so many out of work actors in LA that it was like they were prepping for a job, and they're like, all right, it's 2020, Trump is president, and I got to survive this pandemic, and I got this prop. It's a mask, and I'm going to need it to when I enter Trader Joe's to get my cereal. And that's how I'm going to stay alive. Like, I don't know. Like, I think that was probably the funniest one. What do you think? What do you think? Why do you think Angelenos are more apt to put that mask on than other places?
Well, okay. So we have the Angelenos, and then we have the Orange Curtain. We have the OC, and in one day you could have I'd be wearing my mask in Los Angeles, and then because JR works and lives in Anaheim right now, we go, and he's like, we used to live in Huntington Beach together for a couple of years, and
HB.
And so it was like, look, I was living downtown at the time, and I was like, I got to go somewhere else because I can't, we were in such a severe lockdown. You could only walk in your own neighborhood. Well, to the left of me is Skid Row. I can't go take a walk down there without it's frightening, and it's just dangerous. And so he was
typhoid. I think that
typhoid.
Was it typhoid that he got? Yep. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. It just typhoid came to me.
That's how it
is. All right. So anyway, you can't walk in Skid Row because of typhoid.
I can't get typhoid. So we would go to the OC, we'd go to Huntington Beach, and it was like, oh my God, I'm the only one in a mask. These people are not abiding by any of this. So really, it showed me pretty crystal clear that it's an issue that became politicized.
Yeah, totally.
And people who politicized it, they ran with their narrative, and their narrative wasn't even what even Fauci said. And I'm not a fan of Fauci, but like he was saying, they're like, oh, he said it this, and then he said no, he said yes, he said no. And really what the thing was is like, stop showing us these clips. What he's saying is that you're wearing the mask for other people.
Right.
You're not wearing it like it's to slow the spread, and you're not wearing it. It's just so that when you say it and spray it, you're not just getting your droplets all over random people, and that helps.
Yeah.
He's saying it helps. It's not the cure, but when you politicize it and you turn it into, these Muslims are trying to take over our country.
It's all about control.
It's all about controlling, and look at you with that muzzle. And, I mean, wow, like that. Wow, how we could be all of us on so many different pages at once shows you how we lost so many people during this pandemic.
Yeah, we're definitely divided here. Although kudos to Matthew McConaughey doing what he was doing in Texas. He was out there telling people like, hey, this isn't a political thing. And kudos to that guy. So now I'm going to ask you something super controversial. And I want you to think about what you're going to say, because the Twitter trolls will probably pounce if you
if I answer wrong.
if you answer wrong.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Best tacos in LA.
The best tacos in LA are street tacos, and they are in East Los.
East Los.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're authentic street tacos. They're where the people go to get them. Probably any taco. If you see a street taco and there's a line, yes, that's where you want to go.
Okay. I'll look it up, because I'm on the prowl. I got some recommendations. There was one called Tire Shop Tacos in the downtown area. And it's basically a stand. They take over the parking lot of a tire shop after it closes. And I heard that was really good. And then my current fave, Tacos 1986. It's now a chain. And it's Tijuana style tacos, and it's fucking good. It's amazing.
What else? Tito's Tacos, if you want like a really good, just crunchy taco.
Yeah, the one in Culver City. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay, I'm just saying there's different types of tacos. Like if I'm not a soft taco type of person. I like a Tito's taco.
Oh, you want the crunch. Gotcha.
I like the crunch, but also what's his name that has a chain of his gourmet tacos. He's a indigenous actor. I can't remember his name right now.
Dan, what is his name?
Yeah,
Trejo. Danny Trejo.
Yeah. For like an upper, little pricier gourmet taco, you have to try Trejo's tacos, because he's got so many different kinds. Like you could get a vegan one with these like asada mushrooms with asada type sauce. That's killer. Or like blackened salmon type. But if you want like a really good street taco, you got to go to East Los. Oh
God, I will definitely. So have you gotten vaccinated yet?
No, I haven't gotten vaccinated yet. I think we're not even up for it. Like it's like the last notice I got was like 50-year-olds can start getting them.
Oh, okay.
I know that there's a way you can get them. Anybody can, like you can try any pharmacy at the end of the day and say, hey, do you have any left? Because it's the end of the day and you might get lucky. That's how there's a little bit of a loophole to get leftovers. One now, but leftovers, but they're not leftovers. They're just going to get thrown out if you don't get one.
Sure.
So, but yeah, leftovers from like the group that's qualified. Like the 65. But I was saying like in Hollywood, they should lower the age because they don't have very many 65-year-olds here. Like you basically get shipped out to Silver Lake.
Yeah, that's a huge gripe of mine. I think Newsom kind of dropped the ball on this. I like the guy, but this wasn't a great rollout, I thought, because in the first couple of months, I felt like, okay, yeah, you give it to the seniors, you give it to the healthcare workers, great. But, come March, open it up to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I was fortunate to get mine this week. I got the Pfizer, and it was a...
how was it? You sound good.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, no, I was sore, for like 24 hours. I did have some fatigue, but... I survived. It wasn't a big deal. I mean, yeah, it's no big deal. So you're a Virgo, right?
Yep.
Okay, Virgo. It is now that time to read our guest horoscope in an overly dramatic way. Adulting is overrated. This phase of your life sees you getting serious about being playful. It's all about awakening that lost sense of adventure in the Virgo HQ. So, unlearn the rules of the Matrix and boldly color outside the lines. If it awakens a sense of joy within you, it means you're on the right track. But that doesn't mean you're not getting shit done around here. You're more productive than you've been in years, and that's because you no longer feel the need to play tug of war with the universe. And here's your cosmic tip of the day, Virgo. Unlearn the rules of the Matrix. And that was Dinah Leffert's horoscope.
Wow. Where are you getting this horoscope from, by the way?
This is Vogue.
Did you write it?
No, this is Vogue,
nice.
Baby. Vogue. So what are you working on now? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm in a recurring role as Detective James, and it's in a web series called Crazy Bees, aka Crazy Bitches. And we've got thrown off some platforms for the name Crazy Bitches. So now it's like Crazy Bees. Keep us on the platform, but we launched on a platform that that Fox owns. And so if we do well, like there's some buzz going on right now. If it does well, it's something that could get picked up and developed into a TV series, but because they're like little, 15-minute things right now, like web series, but it's shot really well. It's done really well. It looks like a TV series. So this detective is just like a rookie detective, my character, and she's coming in to like basically solve some murders, but like the bodies keep piling up, and she's a rookie, and so she's just kind of finds herself in this ridiculous situation, like that's over her head. So it's just really, it's really fun. And they really liked my character. So they're writing me in as like a main character right now. So that's pretty cool. And
cool.
Yeah. So just keeping Detective James going on the Crazy Bees as long as we can. And we'll shoot some stuff. And then I've been working on a documentary for the last 10 years. It'll be 10 years coming up. And so I'm kind of like 98% finished. There's like a little 2% completion that I need to do. And it's a youth soccer documentary. And one of our players from the youth team actually is like a 1%er in the country and became pro. So his story is still unfolding. He's actually just flown to Bosnia with the Houston Dynamos, and he's on loan from his Costa Rican team. He's a dual citizen. Is that how you say it? Yeah. So he plays for the Premier League of Costa Rica and the national team, and now for Houston Dynamo. So I'm still following this kid because I've been filming him since 14. He was 14. Oh, wow. His name's Ariel Lassiter, and his dad was Roy Lassiter, and he was an MLS in the first year of the Major League Soccer. I can't talk. The MLS, you know what I'm talking. So he still holds a record for his like most goals in a season or something like that. So anyway, that he basically groomed his kid to be where he's at now, just like killing it. And so I'm hoping to complete the documentary, and that is just a little bit of small finishing costs that I'm trying to raise for it, and get it out for, the youth that don't have anything to watch in youth soccer, because it's not really considered an American sport, but it's becoming one. So it's kind of a grassroots documentary to be about this time of soccer becoming more like the tipping point of soccer in America. And so that's a big project that I've been working on. And then I'm just trying to get back on stage as a comedian. Like, where's the next show?
Yeah, totally. Well, that stuff's opening up. You don't have to do this fucking Zoom and drive through fucking shit, anymore. Cause it's of it. Yeah. it's coming up, man, soon. Everybody's got to get vaxxed though. You got to get on it. I have appreciation for soccer. My mom's Argentinian. I used to go down there a lot, and that's all they watch. That's the only fucking sport they watch, I should say.
Yep.
And so when when I saw that there were some soccer teams here in Los Angeles, I decided to throw my hat in the ring and start following the LAFC. Are you fans of any of the LA local teams, the MLS teams?
Well, I have Landon Donovan in my documentary, and he, at the time, 10 years ago, was still playing for the LA Galaxy. And so I've been to LA Galaxy where they've won like 5 of them, but I've been to 3 of the last game, like were the championship games.
Oh, nice.
So I've been to a lot of Galaxy games. And then I haven't been to the new club yet. And
great soccer stadium. I mean, I like the one in Carson because the Chargers were playing there. Nice little stadium there down in Carson. But
that's only where I've been, to Carson.
To Carson, yeah. But the new LAFC stadium is pretty nice. A buddy of mine has season tickets and took me along, and I'm kind of hooked.
Oh,
and obviously we can't go. We haven't been there since last March
but you
or
know
whatnot.
What?
But
if people are if it's opened up and people are listening to this now, like I would just highly recommend just go. It's good, clean fun. It's electric. It's really fun. Like it is
fun.
Yeah, it's like one of the only things that really could like bring community. Not the only, but like comedy, but like, where you just are with a community and it's like a big fun thing. That's a family thing you could do. So go back to the movies when they open. The theaters need you. Go to the soccer games. They need you. Any of these, like if you're stuck like I am, like an agoraphobic in here, you got to force yourself out. Like people need us to participate.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Well, Dinah, you have been awesome on the ramble. I feel like we got a really good ramble going on there.
We really rambled. We really rambled. Like, thank you for letting me ramble.
Yeah, definitely. You were awesome. Thank you so much. And where are you at on social media so people can give you a follow?
At Dinah Leffert. DINAHLEFFERT on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. It's all at Dinah Leffert.
Oh, nice. You're consistent. I love that. That's awesome. Some guy in like South Africa, he's like a allergist. When you have allergies, a doctor for allergies. Yeah. Sure. A retired allergist has all my fucking social media handles. So I had to make all kinds of different ones. Yeah. And I messaged him like, hey, you haven't tweeted in fucking 2 years. Are you, can I pay you $50 for this or something? And he just fucking ghosted me. What a bitch. Anyway. So, that about wraps it up for the ramble. Thank you so much for coming or calling me up. We're still in a pandemic, so this is over the phone. And I want you to have a wonderful weekend. And thanks again.
Thank you too, Mervin. Cole, you're awesome for having me.
All right, cool. Take care. That was
not to be confused with the allergist.
I know, my God. And that was Dinah Leffert on The Ramble. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit that subscribe, follow, or share, or like, whatever the heck button is available to press.